Tool 47 tells us that a dependent clause at the start of the sentence has a comma after it. A dependent clause in the middle of the sentence has a comma both before it and after it. A dependent clause at the end of the sentence has no comma before it. This is one of the major comma rules, and if you can master this one, then you will eliminate most of the comma problems that you might have in your writing. So let's take a look at some examples. These are our sentences from before, our dependent clauses from before, and you can see I've added independent clauses to make them complete sentences. When I went to the party, couldn't stand on its own, but if we add an independent clause, then it makes sense. When I went to the party, what happened? I was the only one there. Okay, you can see subject and verb with subject-verb completer. No dependent word in front of it. That means this is an independent clause. Subject and verb with a dependent word at the front of it. This is a dependent clause. We'll use these brackets just like we use parentheses for prepositional phrases. We use brackets for clauses. So dependent clause, independent clause. So we see DC, comma, IC. The dependent clause comes first, we put a comma after it. If the dependent clause comes last in this sentence, then we have no comma. So we will be mad if Bill doesn't show up. And you can hear it, there's no pause in that sentence. We just say, we will be mad if Bill doesn't show up. So because the dependent clause comes after the independent clause, no comma. One more time, although it is late, comma, I am not tired. Okay, here's a dependent clause to begin the sentence, independent clause to finish the sentence, so we put a comma after that dependent clause. Okay. The third one says if we have a dependent clause in the middle of the sentence. So let me show you an example of that. Let me change the order of this sentence around. Let me say although it is late, am not tired. So we can see that we can take this dependent clause, although it is late, and we can put it at the beginning, we could put it at the end, or we could put it in the middle of the independent clause, between the subject, in this case, and the verb. Subject and the verb. And we stick it right in the middle. And if we do that, we put commas both before it and after it. Another example, we will, if Bill doesn't show up, be mad. Whoops, mad. In this case, we've got we will, and then the dependent clause stuck in the middle here, comma, if Bill doesn't show up, comma, be mad. Okay, so we've moved that dependent clause into the middle of the sentence. And that's the comma rule surrounding dependent clauses.